Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Q&A show on Inside the Birds platform, the YouTube channel. I'm one of your hosts, Jason Avant. I'm here with my main man, my teammate friend for a long time, Quintin Mikell Q. Say what's up to the people.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Excited to be back, man. It's always good to see your face, man, especially after a win, man, a dominant
Yeah,
win like that. But
always good to see
I
you,
hope you're
brother.
doing good, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything is well. No complaints. Team doing all right down there in Idaho?
Hey, man, we're doing good. We're in the semifinals. We beat a team 35-7 last week. So we're moving on. We got a big game this Friday coming up, and if we win that one, we're in the state championship. So
Hey,
yes,
let's go,
sir.
baby. Let's go.
Yes,
All right.
sir.
Let's get into it. Thank you to Adam. Thank you to Jeff. Thank you to everyone, Josh, everyone at Inside the Birds that's making this possible. And thank you, the fans who's always tuning in and sending your questions to insidethebirds@gmail.com. Again, insidethebirds@gmail.com. Follow us, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, threads, everything, social media, to make sure that you guys are aware of what's going on. So the Eagles went to Dallas and destroyed the team that was battered, didn't have their quarterback, didn't have their left tackle, didn't have their starting corner, a bunch of players they didn't have. But the Eagles definitely dominated them. And I don't know if any of those players would have made a difference in this ball game at all because it seems like they've lost faith in their coach. The Eagles won 5 straight games. They're 7-2 now, and 38 to 6 Cowboys, 34-6 Cowboys win. Not
Shellacking.
Cowboys, Eagles win against Cowboys. So tell me about your thoughts of the game, just big picture.
Yeah, big picture. The Eagles, this team is battered. This Dallas Cowboys team is battered. They are probably going to be looking for a new coach here pretty soon. But at the end of the day, you can only control what you can control. Can't control their injuries, can't control, their coaching stuff, all that, right? So the thing that I'm most impressed with is not only the way that they won the game and how decisive it was, but also the fact that going into the game, you can have kind of a letdown, right? You can say, oh, they don't have Dak, they don't have this, they don't have that. But when you come out, especially defensively, when they came out and the way that they started the game and finished the game, that's what's impressive to me because that's what a championship team does. They come out and no matter who they're playing, they play to win and they play to dominate the game. And that's exactly what they did.
Definitely did that. I'll say my big picture takeaway is that Dallas actually sucks, and they got to blow up the team. And they should have blew it up before trade deadline, before this even happened. But now they're going to be stuck with big cap hits and big contracts. You got the highest paid receiver, the highest paid defensive end, the highest paid quarterback, and you're looking up and you are about what 3-7 right now. That's insane for the Dallas Cowboys. So uh, I just think that they should have blew up the team at the trade deadline.
I agree. But
You know,
Jerry, man, Jerry, he don't know when to he don't know when to hold him and when to fold him, man, as they say
yeah.
in that with that song. So
Yeah, so 3-6 Cowboys there. So, yeah, they're bad. But here's the one of the big takeaways for me is that the defense still plays sound. Our defense still plays sound. All right, you're starting us off today. Come on, let's get into it.
let's get into it. All right. So
Mhm.
um what did you see? So in the game, kind of the first half, there was a couple instances of Jalen getting some pressure on him, couple turnovers. I think it was one turnover. What did Dallas do in this game to pressure Jalen Hurts in the first half? And what changed in the second half, from
Uh-huh.
your viewpoint?
To me, I thought that Jalen had the 5 sacks in the first half. One was a mix block by Gainwell, the one that Overshawn Sean came through and just tackled Jalen straight up. Micah Parson made a play, but Jalen still had time to get the ball out. here's the thing: Jalen got caught up in holding the ball a little bit too long, and part of this is that Kellen Moore had long developing plays,
Yeah.
right, and wasn't anticipating the blitz, wasn't anticipating getting Jalen a check down. So on a lot of those plays, there wasn't anyone to outlet the ball to right away. Because when I go back and I look on the film, like, dude, where's the hot throw? Where's the person that's the outlet? Where's the slant? Where's this or where's that? And that person was nowhere to be found because it was longer developing routes. So Jalen had enough time. The offensive line gave Jalen enough time. I would say questionable at least three. I'm going to say four, but at least three of those sacks are directly on Jalen Hurts. Even though the play call wasn't advantageous, you still had enough time to make a decision to get the ball out of your hands, right? So you had one that was just a clear miss block, and he turned his body, and the guy swam him. You know, like when you were the personal protector on punt. And on the
Yeah.
personal protector on punt, if you try to use your shoulder and somebody swim, you're done.
It's a
That's
wrap.
exactly
Yep.
what Gainwell did. He shot his right shoulder, and the guy just, all right, dummy, boom, just hit the back of that pad and was there on the quarterback, right? And so you had to use your hands and put your body in the space. You know what I mean? You may take a lot of the contact, but you use your hands, and therefore you can't be susceptible to the swim. But most of those sacks on Jalen Hurts. That's my takeaway on that. It wasn't anything that we haven't seen. It was actually a step back this week. It was a step
Wow.
back. It was a step back in the sense that, do we have to remind them before each play, before each series? Hey,
Yeah.
Jalen, throw the ball away. It seemed like this. It seemed like the Eagles knew that the team was wounded, and they were like, let us blow them out as fast as we can so we can go and rest our starters for next week.
Mm,
So what does that
that makes
mean?
sense.
I'm going to air the ball out because we are 2-1 running to pass team. We run the ball 2 times, we pass it once. It was totally the opposite way this at the beginning of this game, the first half of this game. We were throwing it 2-1. And that's not the winning formula that we've had over these last 5 games. I mean, these last 4 games coming into this game. So that's a long-winded response to that. But it seemed like there was like let's get this over with quickly so we can put the backups in so we can get out of here.
Mm. It makes sense. I mean, you got a Thursday night game coming, so it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. For you. Or did you want to respond to that?
Yeah, no. But I do want to ask you a question because
Okay.
so the first pick, okay, what was Jalen thinking there?
So
As
so
a
it was a clear one. So here's the thing. He made up in his mind. He made up in his mind. So they're in a coverage where I couldn't remember if it was cover. I think it was cover three. Was it cover 3? Was it red 3? I believe
it
it was
looks
red
like a,
3.
a three or a match, like a
Yeah, match. Whatever it
match
was.
one.
I believe that it was like I believe that it was a cup. I think it was like a 3 because he was like in between, and he was
Hmm.
playing in between the 1 and 2 there, going up the seam, and he buzzed out like he
Hmm.
was going to 1, but he was reading Jalen's eyes, and Jalen had made up in his mind where he was going to go, rather than just looking at Trayvon Diggs and making the right decision. But if he would have just had eyes on the seam throw and threw it outside, because one of them were going to pop, it was all about where he was going to take his eyes. He took his eyes to the seam, which triggered the corner. Whatever way he would have looked first and threw opposite, he would have been correct. But he looked at the
Mm.
guy and threw it to the guy, and therefore the corner, being a guy that is very, very crafty with his skills and his technique, is Trayvon Diggs, know how to get interception, former receiver. Was a receiver most of his time into his last couple of years at Alabama. And his brother had receiver
Hmm.
skills, so you know it's in the family. So he made a play on the ball, but Jalen has to realize that's the evolution of the quarterback there. That's the Tom Brady. That's the Peyton Manning. When you're out there playing chess with good players, oh, I have to move Ed Reed in order to get this throw. I can't just anticipate this throw happening. I have to move a guy like Trayvon Diggs and make him think I'm doing something else. And now Jalen is not on that level yet. But that's one of those plays that's a forever coaching moment, which can produce him being on that level quicker.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. I
Yeah.
was I was
I'm like,
I didn't know
Greg
what happened. I was like,
Calcaterra
dude,
is
what you looking at?
he was looking so Trayvon was running toward Grant Calcaterra, but he was looking at Jalen, and he had that halfway in between. He wasn't sold completely. He took a couple of
Mhm.
steps to Grant, but his eyes was back, and you can tell he was like baiting him. And
Mm.
as soon as he triggered, he was like, "Oh, let me get that."
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. But do you know that's his fifth pick against the Eagles, and he didn't even play last year
That's his fifth pick.
against the Eagles.
Wow.
So stop throwing the ball at him, please. All right, Q. Did the Eagles defense impress you, or was it hard to get a true evaluation coming up against a backup quarterback and a bad offensive line?
That's a tough one, man. Listen, it's
Tell
the
the truth
NFL.
and
It's
shame
it's
the
the
devil.
NFL.
Tell the truth and shame the devil.
Cooper Rush is horrible, man. Good Lord. Yeah, he was 13 for 23 for 45 yards. 45
45
yards.
yards.
I feel like my fat
That
butt can
boy's
hop
turning
up
into
there
Tebow.
and be, he'll be a quarterback right now and throw for more than 45 yards. I mean, that's just horrible. Now, that being said, I do think the defense did some things that was very impressive. I think Zack Baun is playing lights out right now. Did you
Woo!
see? Did you see him come down? I think it was the second quarter. It was like first and 10, like around the 50, and it was a zone to the defense's right, and he just shot the gap, tackle for loss.
Yeah,
Couple plays later, um,
had on the
drops
ball.
have a hand on the ball. Man, he's just playing lights out. So I really, it's hard for me to say that this was, um, it was anything but I like that the defense is playing together. I like that they're coming together. I like that it looks like they're all playing in unison, especially underneath. I like that the defensive front is getting off the ball, stopping the ball, getting pressure without blitzing all the time. I like Cooper DeJean, Quintin Mitchell, um, Bond. Jalen, I mean, they got some real pieces on this defense to be something very good, and they're all young, and that's the
Mhm.
thing that I'm mostly excited for, is that you got a good nucleus of young players that are starting to figure it out, that are starting to come together, and they're starting to understand how to play in this league. And now, while this offense isn't very good, I still think that, where they're at is just light years ahead of where they were just a couple weeks ago. So I'm impressed. Let's just say that. It's a long way, long story, long way to get to it, but I was very impressed with this defense.
Let's keep it a buck. Like this team is dominating. They're dominating teams. They're dominating. They literally are. They're dominating teams on defense. And so I agree with you. Um, in that sense, Zack Baun is playing lights out. He's been the highest rated linebacker in the last 3 years on Pro Football. I mean, not 3 years, 3 games in Pro Football Focus. Highest rated
Wow.
by far. He's turned a football over in the last 3 games. He had 2 forced fumbles this game. He
Hmm.
had a pick last week with the interception, right? The tip ball interception. The week before that, he had a,
Yeah.
a, a fumble, forced fumble. He is turning the football over and he's everywhere. You talking about 12 tackles, 10 tackles, 13 tackles, 9 tackles. Like it's every single game and he's showing up. He was able to make a play, a pass, a PBU against the Jaguars on a corner route. Like the dude is playing good football right now. And whatever they figured out with him and the Kobe Dean blitzing them more, getting them in situations, and they're making open field tackles. There was one play on the right sideline or the left, if you're looking from the defensive perspective, they threw a ball to the flat. And the Kobe Dean literally had to run from inside, from the outside linebacker position all the way to the flat in a one-on-one situation and made the play. Like, and it
Wow.
was, and then he made it look easy too. It was like for no gain. I was like, dude, that was an impressive tackle because he was running full speed from the snap to get there, didn't break down, and still made it. And I was like, and you were seeing that consistently. Same thing with Cooper DeJean in the flat. CeeDee Lamb one-on-one, a guy that does have wiggle, does have reverse ability and an ability to make guys move out of the spot. Sir, you get none of that. I'm not missing this tackle in open field, no chance. And so they're getting better at tackling and they're becoming an opportunistic defense because they're flying to the ball. And it's one of those defenses, Q, that you can't pick out a star, but they're super good
Yeah.
together. The defensive
Yeah.
line is not going to become like they're not going to have a TJ Watt, a Nick Bosa, somebody that can just flat out physically impose the game and destroy it with one person. They have a bunch of dudes that play complementary football and they're able to get to the quarterback when needed. And even if they can't, they're close enough to force the throw out of their hand. And then it's sticky enough coverage to compete for the ball now because the guys have come up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's my
Beautiful.
that's my take. I think we're on you. Where we at?
Okay, so next question. Some players discuss the sun glare on the field, and they said it made it hard to see. From your experience at that stadium, can you speak on any difficulties you have with the sun?
We always played night. I don't know if I've played a game at the Cowboys stadium that wasn't going into the night. Can
Hmm.
you remember one? I remember a
All right,
Thanksgiving game one time, but I think that was the old stadium. I
I've
remember
played
thinking,
there. I've played there when I was with the Rams.
yeah. So what I'm saying is that all the games that I played in, it was at night.
During the day.
And
Yeah.
or it was the old stadium and it was daytime, but it wasn't on. It was from the top. Dealing with the sun from the top is totally different from dealing with it from the side or from an end zone,
Hmm.
and so that can be
Yeah.
problematic. I want to say this. I want to say what Parcells or Belichick would say is that the sun's there before you, the sun's going to be there afterward. Make it work. You know what I mean? That's what I want to say. But when it's coming in straight like that from a window, like just straight on,
Yeah.
you got really you got no chance right there at times.
Hmm.
Like if it catches that, like because of how low it is. If
Yeah.
it's up top, you can like when the ball is up in the air, you can't look directly into it. You got to kind of like keep your head like level because and just keep running. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see it late. So
Yeah.
there's an adjustment for it coming out of the sun, out of the sky. But when it's like this and you can't see anything, I don't know how you can make an adjustment. So
Yeah.
it was an idiotic move, yeah. But Jerry don't want to take any accountability for it.
Mm-mm.
You see his post game interview talking about
Yeah.
we need to build a whole new stadium and being all dramatic. Man, listen, you do the most talking, man.
Let
But
me.
the truth is that he been getting his ass kissed for 40 years.
Mhm.
So he don't,
Yeah.
so he can't accept accountability. He doesn't know anything about accountability.
I'm gonna tell you
It's
that
a horrible design.
that is the worst stadium. It's the most distracting stadium I've ever played in. Like I'll never forget the first time playing it. You got the cheerleader standing up on top of the thing dancing. You got it looks like it feels like you're playing in a casino. I've seen that before. It feels like you're playing in a casino, and everything about that stadium is just a distraction. So I don't. Like you said, it's Jerry. He ain't changing nothing. But come on, man. I hate playing in that stadium. Absolutely hate it.
I was turned off by the stadium, that big old stupid screen. First, you can't even see the play or the replay on it because as players when we were going back to huddle, we want to see what happened.
Yeah.
And that's like looking at the stadium. The screen in the stadium is something that we do everywhere.
Yeah.
You can actually see if you about to run for a touchdown, you can look up at the corner and see who's behind you from the jumbotron
Yeah.
in end zones. But
Mhm.
that thing is so big and it's low, so all the punters can hit it. How does the NFL even allow that to happen? Like
It's
that, like
Jerry.
just like it's just dumb things. Like that big board literally affects the game all the time. Dudes punt off to the left and punt off to the right just to avoid it
Hmm.
because it's in play. So if you hit it,
I
it's a
remember
bad. You know what
Johnny
I
Hecker
mean?
used to try to hit that thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's lit like we've had guys that hit it. It gets hit a lot. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's just things. It's things like that. Hey, it's their owner. They want to be bad by allowing him to continue to run the organization, or not allowing him, but him running his organization. They're going to continue to be bad. I don't care. You get Mike McCarthy in there, you get Deion Sanders in there, you get Bill Belichick in there. No matter who you are, you get them in there. They got to deal with your dumb self.
I heard that
Right.
rumor about Dion. You think that's gonna happen?
I don't think they're bad enough. Deion don't want to go without his son. I don't think they're bad enough to be able to get high enough. Well, I guess they are. They can go ahead and lose the rest of the
They
game.
tank, yeah. If they tank,
You know, they're one game out of being the worst team, 1 or 2 games. But I think the Giants maybe put themselves in position when you lose to the Panthers. I think you selling
really,
the
to
Giants
get to,
to get cheered. I think the Giants gonna tank this thing.
I agree. I don't think
So
they have
yeah,
a choice.
yeah. So I think that's what I think. All right, question for you, Q. Zack Baun continues to play really well. What has stood out about his development, especially for someone who never played the position? And,
Yeah,
and,
so
and, and
that's
and in your assessment, I want you to talk about the value of special teams because when you ball on special teams from the defensive perspective, it seemed like you're on an accelerated path in order to be good on defense. But go ahead.
yeah, no, that's very, very true. I actually until we I read this question, I didn't realize that he's new to this, well, newer to this position. Um, so one of the coolest things, and one of the things that I think is one of the most underrated parts of playing special teams is you learn how to play with your body in weird positions. You learn how to be able to generate force. You learn how to play in a phone booth, if that, kind of what they say. So you learn how to block. You learn how to position when you're blocking. You learn how to take on tackles. You learn how to run around and how to replace when you're getting blocked. So there's so many little intricate things that you do when you're playing special teams that really transfers over when you're actually playing your position. So, for instance, for me, I started off with special teams, kickoff coverage, right? And on coverage, one of the first things you need to learn is who's going to be trying to block you, right? Because if you're not paying attention who's blocking, if you're not watching film, if you're not studying, if you're not keeping your eyes up when you're running, you're gonna get your butt knocked off. At least that's how it used to be. It's different now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so you learn how to avoid. You learn how to awareness. You learn that, right? So there's that part. Then you turn around if you're playing on kickoff return. You got to learn how to block, how to position, how to get your weight low, how to take on. Maybe it's a big, strong guy that's running full speed. Maybe it's a shifty guy. So there's so many different types of bodies and so many different type of blocks and personnel that you have to deal with in special teams on kickoff return. If you're on punt, like I was a PP on punt, right? You got to learn how to make calls. You got to learn how to audible the fronts. You got to learn how to understand, hey, this guy right here, he might be coming, but this guy's dropping out. So there's so many different aspects of the game that you learn from just playing special teams for a couple years that once you get your opportunity to play and as an actual starter, the hard part is already done. The hard part in terms of how to actually play the game, play it fast, play it aggressively, attack, attack, attack. All that stuff has already been done because you've been doing it for 4 or 5 years already, 3 or 4, however long. The hard part is the experience, right? So when you come from special teams, you get that part of it, but the experience in terms of understanding, the defensive calls and the fronts and all that, that part is what you learn on the fly afterwards. So, the way Zach has stepped in and we've really seen his maturation from the beginning of the year to now. It's been amazing. He's just playing at such a high level. He's understanding where he's got to be. He looks like he's a leader out there. He's talking, he's making checks. He's playing downhill. That hit that he knocked the ball loose on Zeke, he actually was coming off a block. He was actually starting to get washed. It was a zone run to the defense's right. He
Yeah.
stepped up and he started to kind of get washed a little bit. And he recognized where Zeke was running. He got off the block, came in and just stuck his head right on the ball and knocked it loose. I mean, just little stuff like that that's just amazing to me. And really what you want to see your linebacker doing is getting off blocks, playing aggressively, playing downhill, getting in the passing lanes. I mean, he's doing everything really well right now. So
Yeah.
sorry, that was kind of long-winded.
No, that's good stuff. That's really good stuff because I think that yeah, so him being outside linebacker, him being a special team guy, I think all of that accumulative information kind of helps you. It's not like, okay, yeah, he switched positions, but it's still similar in a lot of ways because playing in the middle is the same way running down the field on a 4 or 5 at kickoff. You just got to understand a blocking scheme, what they're trying to do, and then the thing that I used to love is that you would be able to discern, okay, I can probably beat this guy if I go opposite of my leverage right now because he's
Mhm.
out of phase with the ball carrier. Like you start to break that down. And what I'm saying is that you could sometimes run around the block if the guy is in bad position. And you begin to break that down, analyze that as you're going. It's like, oh, I know I can't go around right now because the ball carrier is right behind him. I got to go through him. Like he's making those things right away. So he's playing outstanding. He got a really good chance of making a Pro Bowl, a really, really good chance of making a Pro Bowl, really,
Absolutely.
really good chance.
How crazy
Um,
would that be?
and like when I say Pro Bowl, he got a really good chance of like if he continues up the play and the production. Say he has another couple games where he has picks and he has 3 or 4 more forced fumbles. He can be like an All Pro.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy to say because no one knows his name. Now, a lot of these things are going to be tough for him because this is the first year of breaking. So when
Yeah.
you're first year of breaking, people don't know your name, and then you kind of drum up support as you go. But if you take it by force with turnovers, because that's the only way you can take it by force is with turnovers. Tackles are going to be tackles. People can make cases for guys with tackles, but turnovers are undisputable.
Yep.
You look up and you're like, dude, this dude had 9, 10 turnovers by himself. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you can't do anything with that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I love to see
All
it.
right.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is one of my favorite questions.
Okay.
Are the Cowboys officially dead and buried? And how does that make you feel?
This
Do you think
question
that?
should be for you first. I definitely think that I think that
Oh yeah, my bad.
they're dead for this season. They're dead for this season. They're NFL football team, and they could be gone for a couple years, but they'll be back because they got the most money by far of any team in the National Football Leagues, and they're going to always be enticing for free agency. It's just going to be like that. Just think about it. Think of how much media coverage happens just for the Cowboys. Like they talk about the Cowboys on ESPN, Fox, whatever it may be, all day long, and they're terrible. Like they get more play than the Vikings, and the Vikings are, have two losses. They get more play than, the Steelers, and the Steelers are winning games. And that's just how it is, because the Cowboys, not necessarily America's team, they just get the most eyes because of ratings and history and paraphernalia sell, like how much product they're able to sell. So yeah.
Yeah.
But
Well,
tell me, how does it feel? How does it feel? Ha ha! Is that what's that right there you're drinking?
Cowboy tears, baby. Cowboy fan
Cowboys.
tears. So delicious. This is vintage 2024. Listen, man. So this team is dead and gone. I I took
You
to
dead and gone, meaning Dak is this whole process
they
of Dak
got blowed up. It's
is gone.
done. It's
It's
done.
not. Oh dang! They just paid him.
Hey, man, it's not our problem.
Oh man.
So to me this is the best thing about it, and I've talked about it before, is the way that the way that they did Kellen when he was in Dallas. Now you know I'm a Boise State man, so you know I'm gonna support
Mhm.
him.
Oh yeah.
Um,
I forgot
he
about
had
that.
they were putting up points, they were putting up scores. It wasn't his fault. He got scapegoated, and I've always had this. I don't want to talk bad about him. Actually, I'll talk bad him. I've never really been impressed with Mike McCarthy as a play caller. Now, he might be a phenomenal coach organizationally and all that stuff, but when it comes to actual play calling, I felt like he skirted on Aaron Rodgers' coattails for years. It's easy to call plays when you got a guy like Aaron Rodgers.
Mhm.
Same thing with Tom Brady. It's easy to call plays, when you got a guy like Tom Brady. So to me, I feel like this is a little retribution for Kellen, even though, the offensively there was some stuff that needs to get better. Just the
Mhm.
final score was the final nail in the coffin for this organization for 2020 24. They're about to blow it up. And I'm gonna be drinking some more tears on December 29th because that game ain't gonna be nothing.
Won't say
So
won't
painful.
mean nothing. We may be resting starters.
Yeah. We're
Yeah.
gonna we're gonna let the young boys play, man, the backups.
They still beat them.
Yeah.
That
So
is
yeah, that's great.
awesome sauce. All right, you got the next one. This Thursday night. We're gonna go to this Thursday night game.
Oh
Thursday
yeah,
night
yeah.
game versus Washington coming up. I saw the trailers today. Thursday night crew is already at the stadium preparing, getting ready to go. I'm excited about this game, Q. I'm excited. Like this is making me happy because it's a chance for us to see what our team is made of. All right, go ahead, Q. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
All
All right.
right.
So what stands out about Jaden Daniels, the phenomenal young quarterback for the Commanders? So what stands out about Jaden Daniels and Cliff Kingsbury led offense? And then who's the guy that who's the guy outside of Daniels that most concerns you versus the Eagles defense?
Oh, there's a couple guys, right? So, here's the thing that impresses me most about Jaden: that he protects the ball,
Yeah.
that he gets the ball out of his hands, and he's accurate. He's completing almost 72% of his passes.
Wow.
Uh,
Yeah.
Now, a lot of those passes are short throws, but he does have success down the field when he gets the opportunities. And I would say that his ability to deal with pressure and be unrattled has been the most impressive thing about this young dude.
Mm,
Like he is beyond his years with that. Now he's still in a college system. So his success is good, but it's still a college. He's still got to develop. Like if he loses Kingsbury, it'll be a struggle for him
mm,
because he's not running a pro style offense. It's still college based, but that doesn't mean that it can't be effective. They're doing a lot of things that are effective, but he has to stay with that coach until he's developing other aspects of his game. But the thing that's good about him is that you can tell that he takes it serious. There's a piece that talks about him getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning and getting there to get to the facility and study and learn. So it's in him to do that. So his ability to stay composed in the midst of pressure, that's been the most impressive part. Another thing about the Commanders is that they run the ball a lot. They actually run the ball 50-50. They're close to us when it comes to the way we, maneuver with the run and the pass. Like, because Jaden Daniels is mobile, they can do read option. They can do quarterback runs. They can do all of these things, which contributes to the run game. So he doesn't have to throw the ball 35, 40 times. He doesn't have to do that because, he's a high completion guy. So he can go 20 for 23, 20 for 25 like it's nothing
Mm, okay.
because he's added into the run game. And when you're added into the run game, what do you have to do? It's harder to play the coverages that you want because you got to account for the quarterback. It kind of makes the team one dimensional, right? I know I'm going to get cover three. I know I'm going to get cover four. I know I'm going to get cover two. I know I'm going to get that. But one thing I'm not going to get is a bunch of man.
Yeah,
You
true.
basically eliminate that because he has Lamar speed, doesn't have Lamar dynamics, like as far as his elusiveness, but he has Lamar speed.
Okay. I didn't know he
You
was
know,
that fast.
oh, he can roll.
All right.
Yeah, he low 4-4 roll.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yo, did you know that I was watching this thing about Jaden Daniels and the AI goggles? Did you hear about that?
No.
So they have some kind of, I think it's called, I looked it up, Cognilyze.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll start off as for soccer players, but it's like AI goggles, and they load up the playbook onto the goggles, and so he actually gets a bunch of extra reps without actually at practice because he just puts the goggles on when he's at home or when he's
Oh,
there.
I do know about that. I actually was one of the people that tested that out inadvertently at an amusement conference that they were working with the NFL. This was many years ago.
Yeah. How
Yeah,
did you like it? You tried it? How did you like
yeah,
it?
I tried it out. Basically, like you can load your program up, like you can load your playbook into the system, and then you can put a defense out there, and basically it'll show you who's open and not show you who's open, but it'll simulate it like you're in the game, and therefore you can like throw the ball over here, complete it or not. You know what I mean? Oh, interception because you didn't see this person. Yeah, it's basically like a virtual reality of you can also put in your playbook. You can also put the opposing team's defensive calls in it as well, like and simulate that as best you can. Yeah, it's pretty
Wow,
cool. Yeah,
that's cool, man. So
yeah,
apparently he does it all the time. I never heard about this, so I saw this story. Um, I guess Jeff was saying that they had it at LSU.
yeah,
Uh, Maybe we need some of that here. Come on,
yeah.
House.
I'm pretty sure they got it. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
I'm
they got
sure they do.
it. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Just maybe we need some of that here. That's funny. All right. All right. What guys? The other guy that concerns me, Terry McLaurin has always had good games versus us. Always.
Scary Terry. Scary Terry.
Yeah. So has always had good games versus us. So that right there worries me a bit. Um, I would say the other thing, Austin Eckler is probably going to be the starter of this game. They run the ball a lot. Austin Eckler is a good back, so I would say that defensively, Deron Payne has been a pain in the butt. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm gonna ask you this question: what's your level of faith in the Eagles' front four rush against the Commanders? Would you expect Vic to lay off the blitzing versus Daniels? What do you think?
I don't I don't think so. So one of the cool things about Thursday night games, at least in my view, was that the game plan is usually dumbed down. You don't
Yes.
really have that extra day to really bring in, put in a whole bunch of new stuff. So it's almost like it almost feels schematically and call wise like a preseason game. And that goes for both sides, right? Offense is not going to be very complicated. So, that being said, I if I'm Vic, I'm sending heat. I know he's a good young player. I know they got Terry. I know they got Eckler, but Thursday night short week, I'm sending everybody. Plus, the secondary that we just talked about, the secondary back seven is playing lights out right now. They're playing really good. I would say the two weakest links so far in the back seven has been um, Reed and CJ. And a lot of it is kind of CJ gets his eyes in the wrong spots, and Reed, he just makes some mistakes here and there. So I'm coming after him. Right now it's looking like Brandon Coleman starting left tackle is questionable. Nick Allegretti, I'm sorry, Tyler Biadasz. I can't how you
Be
ain't that the
honest.
guy you know?
Yeah,
The guy
from
from
Cowboys.
Michigan?
Yeah, be
He
honest. No, Cowboys.
he's questionable. Wiley's questionable. So you got a banged up O line coming in Thursday night, short week. I'm sending the heat. I'm sending everything. That's
Yeah.
me. What do you think?
No, from let's see. Let's look at it from this perspective. Like he's done really well versus the blitz. And do I think that we can tackle now? I think we can tackle better. Um, this can Ertz hurt us? Can the tight ends hurt us? Yeah, because are we ever going to make an adjustment on the red zone with CJ?
That
Like,
is,
dude, he's giving up 5 touchdowns down there. Like I love him. I love his energy. I love that. I just think that every team is scheming him up. So they
mhm.
schemed him up to be on CD Lamb. CD Lamb is wide open. He the sun gets in his eyes. The next
Mhm.
play, they put CD Lamb at number 3, but they ran the ball. He was on CD Lamb again. And
Right.
I'm like, every team, like, because remember, the NFL is not a league that they do things by happenstance. They make everything look the same. So they're going to run the ball out of that formation, but simultaneously, they're getting information for their next play or the play later in the game. So they can look back at that play and say, okay, that's confirmed. They're going to put CJ on him at the 3 position like they've done all year. It's just confirmed for us. Now we can run that corner route from that position or that deep over, and we know that he can't cover CD Lamb across the field and or to the corner. So I'm trying to figure out why they keep doing that. Do we have nobody? Like, how does that keep happening? Like, I don't understand. Like, if a guy's giving up 4 touchdowns or 5 touchdowns down there, and basically from the same split, the same position, either guy going across the field or going to the corner, and they are doing it that many times, and he hadn't been able to cover it, why continue to have him in that position? I don't understand it. That was just a pet peeve of mine. I'm not coming at CJ because I think he brings a lot of energy. I just think that him on a number one receiver is not smart football. So and I don't understand why it keeps happening. Can
That's a
you
good point.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know. I'm not a big fan
I
of,
know. Go
go
ahead.
ahead. No, I'm just saying I'm not a big fan of playing because a lot of times they're not even sending pressure. So it looks like just straight zero,
Mhm.
zero coverage everywhere down there. So I'm not a big fan of it. And you're right. You're absolutely right. I don't know why it keeps happening.
I don't know. I don't know. Like some certain things makes no sense to me. One thing that I did want to say is that Marshawn Lattimore may be out because he's been injured, and so he may be
Oh
out.
yeah.
He didn't play this past game against the Steelers. If he's out, they're going to have problems because you got St. Juice who's always in good position. St. Juice is always in good position, especially down the field throws. He's always in good position. He'll get beat with dynamic playmaking. But he's so big. He's a 6'3", 6'4" guy. He's a big dude. So throwing jump balls against him, I remember a couple years he tipped one up and was picked. You know what I mean? So like those type of plays are possible for him down the field. Now Mike Williams just got him last week, so I'm not saying that we should go away from him, but going across the field is not his strongest suit. Big guys, 6'3", 6'4", don't redirect like guys that are 5'11", 5'9". So that's something that can be that can hurt them. But if Marshawn Lattimore doesn't play, you got Mikey Sanders still, who I love because he's a Michigan guy, but he's strictly a slot guy. He's been forced to go out there. And he has limitations out there that's way different. It's way different from what he's comfortable with and what he's used to. So him covering Devontae Smith, AJ Brown, that's a tough go for him. And then they have, Emmanuel Forbes, who's been benched multiple times because he can't hold up in coverage. And then you got another nickel back that goes outside, and Noah and Benahay, right? So, which he was getting pieced up last week. So they have a problem in the secondary, and they are like 28th against the rush. So the you can tell like there's a lot of things that now they can get to the passer because the Dante Fowler has been balling. You got Dorrance Armstrong, which we know from the Cowboys.
Yeah.
You got guys that can rush the passer. You still got Deron Payne there. You got some guys that can get to the quarterback. But secondary wise, I think without Marshawn Lattimore, it's an uphill battle because we can run the ball and we can get down the field. So I'm looking forward to see. Let me ask you this question. How difficult is it with the short turnaround against a division rival? This game is for first place. It's a litmus test. It's all of that. Do you think the Eagles are going to come out and have a Bengals type of game, or what do you think?
Yeah, no, I think they're gonna come out ready to go. I mean, it's a division, it's a rival. They always, I mean, no matter how good a team is, for some reason, the Redskins, Commanders, the game is always a tight game, and so I expect the Eagles to come out ready. They're pretty rested. I mean, most of the starters didn't play if the whole game last week, so they'll
Mm-hmm.
be rested. Um, I don't think this particular game is going to be tough for them to get up and ready for it. So I'm excited. I think they're going to come out ready to go. I think it's going to be fireworks across the board. You got a very good young team coming in versus a very good young team that's
Mm-hmm.
still trying to find their way. So it's gonna be good, man. I'm excited for this game. Like you said, man, it's gonna be fireworks. It's gonna be exciting. So they'll be ready to go.
Yeah, it's going to be the biggest test for the defense. It's going to be the
Absolutely.
biggest because this team can score points, they can run the ball, they can pass the ball, and they protect the football, and they have a high completion percentage. So we're about to see about our defense because, yeah, we played, a bunch of teams that are not the most, offensively, good football teams the last couple of weeks, right? They're not the best, but we're about to see um, what a good offense looks like. And if our defense can play anywhere near they have this last 5 football games, we got a shot. And that's why I'm so excited about it because I want to know what our defense. I think our offense is going to handle biz because they have so many holes. They can't stop the run, and
Hmm.
then you got backup players playing. So you do have Jeremy Chin there which is really good at covering tight ends. He's really good at covering tight ends.
Oh, I forgot about
So
Chin. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So you like they got a lot of play. Like when you like break down their roster, they got a lot of players in position. They got Bobby Wagner there. They got a lot of players in position. Like so, Jalen is going to have to be aware because Jeremy Chin's a good cover safety, and then Bobby Wagner is as good as it gets from a knowledge standpoint at middle linebacker. So. But I think we can run the ball against this team, and I think we can avoid the middle of the field at times, especially if Marshawn Lattimore isn't playing.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
There it
So
is.
that's my assessment, and I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the team. Q, you think we're a Super Bowl contender?
I'm not gonna jinx it. I'm not gonna jinx it. Let's
It's not
let's
about
let's
jinxing.
see after this game.
I was going to avoid the question. I was going to say the exact same thing. I want to wait until after those Commanders, the Steelers, and the Ravens to give my true opinion about it because I
Yeah.
need to see what our team is like against the upper echelons. Now they're not upper echelon defense, but they're the upper echelon offense. So we get one part of the equation right. So
Yeah.
all right. Hey, Hey, we want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Q&A show on Inside the Birds platform. Make sure that you sign up at patreon.com Inside the Birds for all the special guests that are with the Patreon part of Inside the Birds channel. And to Adam, to Jeff, and everyone that's responsible, thank you again to the fans. We appreciate you. Let's go Birds. Q, you got the last word.
As always, man, it's great to see you. Yeah, man, it was fun. I always have a good time. That's all I got, man. See you guys next week. Peace.
Peace.